I love that. All right, let's get the picks here, guys. The Packers are favored in this one by 3. And this is a close one for me because I think the Titans have been playing so well, but I had to give the edge to the Packers because I do think Mike Pettin is going to have this defense figured out. And I do think, like, in this game specifically, he'll have a game plan in place for Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, and ultimately they get the edge. Cynthia, what do you got for me?
Light this one up in Christmas gold. This is one of my finest. Why? Because it's only a 1-point win, which means you have to come back on Sunday morning because there are some things that could potentially change, as in more injury information, as in there's just a lot that could change in this one. So you got to come back, a 1-point win right now in this one. It's going to matter what the final injury report says. Right now, A.J. Brown is questionable. This one, it's all about how close of a game it's going to be.
We are on meme alert right now because I have the Packers winning by 2 points. Cynthia and I are both trying to thread that needle, even though, the Packers are barely favored. We don't totally trust them. But you know what did it for me? This is Aaron Rodgers' closing argument for the MVP race. They might be sitting in week 17. Everyone's watching on Sunday night. And this Titans defense, I've been watching them all year. They've been lousy all year. And so I think Aaron Rodgers gets it done. Yeah, I think this is the biggest game of the week. The Seahawks are favored by 1.5. It's going to decide the NFC West title either way. I believe it. And I believe the title winner will be the Rams. I hope you guys disagree with them. I have them winning 20-17. Hawk put it really well. Teams change during the course of the season. Like, this is a great example. The Seahawks are not the same team they were in December. I think this is an NFC West that is led by defense. This is going to be a defensive game, and the Rams' defense is the defense I trust on Sunday, and this win is going to make my daughter Alice very happy on Christmas weekend. What do you say, Cynthia? You want to be a Grinch or what?
You bring the kids into it. I see what you're doing here. I have the complete opposite result in this one, a 3-point win for the Seahawks, just because of what you said. The defense and teams change. The defense has changed. They've added Carlos Dunlap. Jamal Adams is healthy now. You think Jamal Adams is going to say, hey, I'm going to let the Jets beat the Rams, but for the NFC West, it's fine. Rams can have this one on us. It ain't going to happen. Their pressure has really come on strong lately, and that's going to be the difference maker.
I love it. Greg, you should check my resume, man. I have no problem ruining Christmas for the kids. I'm going with the Seahawks. Not only that, I do think Russ has a big game. I do think Carlos Dunlap, to Cynthia's point, has a big game because he really has helped revamp this defense. This is a different football team that they faced earlier in the season. Seahawks are my Super Bowl pick at the beginning of the year, and I'm feeling better about it now that I'm watching this defense play up to par. I love it. That's why we're a great team, Greg. You have the guts to take it where I am too scared to. All right, now we're going to picks. The Colts are favored in this one by 1.5. And you know what? I picked the Steelers early in the week, but I'm actually going with the Colts. So my graphic may be wrong here, but I'm picking the Colts. I think the Colts do edge them out on this one. I'm doing a game day just flip-flop, just like that. The Colts get the W, and the Steelers put the AFC North in question. Cynthia, what do you got?
Ooh, I hope I'm on Steelers Island all alone. This is one of my finest. Light that up in Steelers black and yellow, gold, whatever. Yeah, 23-21 in this one. Why? Well, when it comes down to Mike Tomlin's ability to right the ship, that defense, I understand TJ Watt. I understand there's a tons of people who bring the heat. I'm with you about DeForest Buckner not getting enough love, but that's not going to happen in this game. He's going to have a big impact, but not enough. It's going to be the Steelers by 2.
I've got the Colts winning this game. I need to catch up on Cynthia. I would be doing it regardless, though, because, I know the Steelers have been great over the course of the season, but they haven't been great over the last 3 weeks. That matters to me more. The Colts are playing their best football. They're more of a complete team. In a lot of ways, I think they're the team that the Steelers wish they were, balanced and making big plays on defense.
Washington is favored in this one by 2.5, and I'm going with the Panthers. I don't really care who's playing that quarterback. I like the Panthers in this game against the matchup against the Washington football team and kind of where they're trending. That stuff does affect the football team and what you see on Sundays. No Terry McLaurin. I feel even more confident about that pick. Cynthia, what do you got?
You got to come back on Sunday. Right now I have a 3-point win for Washington, 24-21. But I don't want to say anything until we know Terry McLaurin's official status, who's the quarterback. You got a lot of questions here because those are two of the most key players on this team. Who's the running back? What are we going to do here? So you got to come back on Sunday. So just stay away from this one until Sunday.
No, actually, we're going to lock in these picks right now, Cynthia. Like, you see it right there on the computer. It says below. It says Washington. It also just said to start this segment, I'm 6 games behind. We need as many disagreements as possible. Cynthia loves this Washington team, even if I'm starting at quarterback. But I'm taking the Panthers, by the way, because I know who's starting for them. It's Teddy Two Gloves, Teddy Bridgewater, having an underrated season. Love this guy, and I love their offense. So I think they can find a way to get it done like Hawk, no matter who's at quarter. This is where the bias is showing, Cynthia. You know how like Hawk has that beautiful background? It's all fancy. It's all lit up. It's because Andy Dalton basically paid for it. He got Hawkins paid, and Hawkins won't stop talking about it. I'm taking the Eagles in this game. I'm really excited to watch it. The Eagles are favored by 2.5. I have them winning by 4. Their defensive line was really well said. I think that's a big-time advantage. I want to be like the Eagles in terms of our pick competition. Trash all year, but somehow get it done in the end and sneak into the playoffs with a lucky couple final weeks. That's my route. What about you, Cynthia?
Well, I'm not the Cowboys because I don't know if they started good or no, anyways, but I'm going to pick the Eagles in this one. I have them winning this one by 2 points, 27-25. I think the interesting part when you look at this Cowboys offense is I think Tony Pollard, if Ezekiel Elliott couldn't go, he's going to have a nice game against this Eagles front. I mean, they're great at pressure, but I still think Tony Pollard showed us something last week. And if you have him in fantasy and there's no Zeke Elliott, then you absolutely need to play Tony Pollard.
You know what? I always pick off a field. There is no model in my brain, baby. It's like, Hawk, what do you think? And I'm flying solo. The Hawk is flying solo. Give me the sound bite. Do we have the sound? There it is. I'm picking the Cowboys. I think they will get out of here with a W. They're ripe for that, right? And Andy, the Cowboys, they play best when people don't expect a lot out of them. And we've seen how well the Eagles have played. So I'm going with the Cowboys, and you know, there's a real chance that I could end this season as the worst picker on this show. Broncos at Chargers. Chargers favored in this one by 3. We're going right to picks, and I'm picking the Chargers for the same reason Ricky just said what she said. Because they have a guy that when you watch him, he seems like a seasoned vet. Even the last game that he played, man, I was sitting there still in awe. After the entire season, I've been waiting for the Cinderella slipper to fall off, and it hasn't, man. This kid has it. He has the arm strength. He has the poise. He has the decision-making. He has the feel. And for that reason, I got to feel good about him edging the Broncos. What do you got, Cynthia?
So I have the Chargers winning this game by 4 points, 26-22. But I do want to point out that this could be the Melvin Gordon revenge game. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Broncos attack this one. Look, I'm not going to say that I like a game where really nothing's on the line because it doesn't make any confidence, right? Like, if a normal confidence for a 4-point win is around 56, 57%, this one you got to go down from that because neither team has anything to prove. So for me in that one, I have 4-point win, but again, probably not the most strongly confident one on the slate.
I've got the Chargers winning this game by 3. It is a real revenge game for Melvin Gordon because he never got his money from the Chargers, and he watched Austin Eckler come into the lineup and ultimately be a little better. I just want to give some love to Austin Eckler, not just because he's short compared to other NFL backs. He's been playing out there the last 5 or 6 weeks at clearly less than 100% in games that don't matter. And they're giving him the ball 25 times, and he's a rock. He's the man. He's one of the toughest players, I think, in the entire league. I love watching him play. Love Rudolph, love Lamar, love the Ravens. They're favored by 10 points in this game, and I have them winning comfortably. Daniel Jones is trending towards a return, and that Giants defense has played well this year. But if you look at who they've struggled with over the last couple of weeks, it's been diverse running attacks. And J.K. Dobbins has really added a lot of juice to this Ravens rushing attack. We know about Lamar, but Dobbins and his speed and his juice, he's put Mark Ingram on the bench. You know you got to be good to get Mark Ingram benched, and I think Dobbins is really the guy they need to ride down the stretch. I think they will on Sunday. What about you, Cynthia?
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I have a 10-point win in this one, 27-17. I was trying to work in like that Kyle Rudolph didn't play on Christmas and something like that from the tease and from Ricky, but it didn't work out. So I'm just going to actually talk about Lamar Jackson passing outside the numbers. Interesting thing here is that they've kind of stopped asking him to do all these things right in the beginning of the game. They're doing this smart thing where they're getting everything kind of going, and then they're asking him to do the harder passes later in the game. And that seems to be working out better. Not necessarily going to be a huge factor in this one since a 10-point win doesn't mean there's going to be a lot of passing late in the game per my model. It does, though, matter going into this potential playoff run. Remember, the Dolphins hold the wild card, so the Ravens are really going to need some help and make sure that they don't end up with the same record as the Dolphins.
I love that, and I'm going to actually, throw what I was going to say away and talk more about Lamar, because you're right. Over the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so, he's looked like the old Lamar. He looks like a guy who's letting the game come to him. He is running the football well. He is throwing the ball well. Even when he has mistakes, you're seeing him bounce back more frequently. And, a guy, Des Bryant, I said this at the beginning, I do think he is going to come, into effect here for this team down the line for those outside the number throws on third down, those stop routes, that 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. Big body, big target, move the chains. That's something this team needs, especially heading into the play. All right, we got some quick picks. We got the Bucs at the Lions. The Bucs are favored in this one by 9.5. I'm going with the Bucs. I want to see them start faster, though. Otherwise, why do you keep getting yourself into trouble, Tampa Bay? Just go. Just go now. We don't need a comeback, Tom. Just start it off. Cynthia, what do you got?
I actually have to leave because I'm going to go help the coaching staff there since no one else is available. I have a 10-point win for the Bucs in this one, 31-21. This number could be even lower for the Lions if Matthew Stafford isn't playing, so pay attention to that in the morning. I do, however, want to talk about our friend of the show, just Marvin Jones Jr., who's going to have over 65 receiving yards, no matter who the quarterback is. Ooh. Let's keep it positive there. One thing good, Marvin Jones Jr. Again, he comes on our show. We give him some love. That's how this works, people.
He's been great down the stretch, but I don't think he's going to help enough to keep this game close. I have the Bucs winning 34-23. This is one of my favorite picks of the week, that they win this game going away. The Lions don't have their interim head coach. They're literally calling a guy down from the analytics department to coach the defensive line. We've never seen anything like this. Tom Brady is throwing the ball, by the way, really well right now. Yeah, call Cynthia up. I mean, put her in the front office with Chris Spielman. Why not? Let's go to 49ers Cardinals. That's the afternoon game on Saturday. Cardinals are favored by 5. I have the Cardinals winning by 7 in this game. I've been really impressed the way Arizona's played its 2 most complete games of the year, I think, in the last 2 weeks down the stretch. Now they get to face CJ Beathard at quarterback for the 49ers. They're missing Deebo Samuel. You do get George Kittle back, but there's just so many injuries. I think the Cardinals keep it up and keep themselves in playoff position. You had them in the playoffs weeks ago, Cynthia. You never really doubted.
Never a Cardinals doubter, even with George Kittle taking passes from his college quarterback. This one's one of my finest. You got to light it up in gold. I'm not going to say that I think that George Kittle is going to make a huge difference. It's 27-19, an 8-point win for the Cardinals in this one for me. But I do want to talk about Brandon Ayuk. I do think he has really come on this season, and 55 receiving yards seems like a nice low threshold for him to surpass in this one. So if you have him in fantasy, please light that up in gold too, because you're going to need him to win your fantasy Super Bowl.
I love it. I'm going with the Cardinals, too. I mean, and the underrated part of this Cardinals team is their defensive line. They've been getting after quarterbacks. So for old CJ, you better keep his head on the swivel because they are coming. I don't suspect any different this week. Also, big game out of DeAndre Hopkins. No Richard Sherman there. Things could get really ugly really quickly for that D. All right, next up, we have the Dolphins at the Raiders. The Dolphins are favored in this one by 3. I am going with the Dolphins. The Brian Flores train continues. They feel really good after a big win last week. I think that continues. Tua has a big game as well. This was on the NFL Network too, Cynthia.
Ooh, a good NFL Network, cozy Saturday night. I love it. I, too, have the Dolphins winning this one. When I look to see what happens in most of the simulations, this is how the Dolphins potentially get in. 27-23. They got to win this one, right? If they're going to end up with that same final result as the Ravens, this is one that they can't let the Raiders beat them. So 27-23. I would feel better about it if I knew exactly who we're playing in this one. So be careful for your fantasy purposes because there's been a lot of people on their injury report, including their tight end Mike Gesicki. But I think in this one, you got to go a nice, strong 4-point win for the Fins.
Well, both of you guys were so worried about the Dolphins injury report last week. You thought I was, being an anti-Patriots homer, and I said they'd win by 10 last week. That's what they won by. I'm saying they're going to win by 10 again this week. I love this Dolphins team. Every time a team loses to them, they're like, how did they win that game? It was like Ahmed ran for 100 yards, or maybe it's Matt Breida, or it's a return touchdown, or it's a fumble return. They always find a way. I've just loved watching this team throughout the course of the season. I think nationally, people are going to realize how well coached they are, and it doesn't matter if Derek Carr is out there. It looks like he will start. for the Raiders. I think the Dolphins get the victory. I know it's weird to fall in love with the Dolphins when I'm wearing this sweater, but the Patriots, they're not really in the mix so much right now. They are underdogs in this game on Monday night against the Bills. They are 7-point underdogs, and I think the Bills win by 13. You can't tell me the Bills don't have anything to play for. Here's what they have to play for: their pride after New England beat them down for a decade straight. I mean, this means a lot to them. There's no Stephon Gilmore. There's absolutely a number 2 seed on the line. That means they can get that 2 seed in Buffalo, and Josh Allen is just...
So I do think that they win, but I don't have it as big of a margin as you have. I only have a 6-point win right now. But again, this is not till Monday, so we'll just keep an eye on everything as the whole week progresses. I do think, though, that Josh Allen's passes for more than 250 yards in this one. I like the no Stephon Gilmore aspect for Stephon Diggs. I already told you about the Gabriel Davis potential touchdown that I think you could have in fantasy if you're playing daily formats. The interesting part here is I just think that they keep it a little bit as far as on the ground. They keep the run game going a little bit because I don't think anyone wants to get hurt. What you don't want to have happen is the Bills make the playoffs and they don't have everyone that they need. So keep everyone healthy and happy and just a nice, solid win.
I mean, think about that. The Bills are now thinking about staying healthy for the playoffs and not clawing their way through the end of the season trying to get a Patriots win. What a turn of events. I'm also picking the Bills in this one. And the thing I'm looking for is I want to see what the Patriots team, how they respond. What happens when the Patriot way is out of playoff contention? We know that it's hard there. We know it's not a place that everybody can play. I know that from experience, right? And you're sold on because we're going to win. This is the first time in the Belichick era where their team is out of playoff contention before the end of the regular season. So it will be interesting to see what kind of team we get. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking for. Still have the Bills winning. And, you know, it's not very often we get to see something we've never seen before. Let's take a look at some more picks here for Week 16 on Game Day View. I think we're all pretty much aligned on all of these. Anything sticking out to you here, Greg?
I wanted to see if you'd pick the Bengals this week. I saw you bragging on Twitter that you picked the Bengals last week to beat the Steelers to one of your buddies or something. You didn't pick it on this show. We've got a nationally televised show. You could have picked the Bengals to beat the Steelers. Come on, man.
Yeah, if Juju got traded and then did another TikTok dance on the logo, I'd pick him again. But that's not the case this week, Greg.
Come on now. Have some guts.
I follow the vibes.
Have some
follow the vibes. All right, Ricky, what do we got next?